Hi, this is Deirdre Macnamara again in the second of the tutorials in PowerPoint 2010. Again, I've just opened up a blank presentation and we're going to take a look at drawing and working with clip art. So with a blank slide here, I actually didn't want a title slide. This is a title slide that has a placeholder for the title and a subtitle. So I want to change this layout. So instead of going new slide, I just click on layout. And I would like a blank slide in this case, so I got to click on the blank option here. Now I'm moving to the insert tab up here, so I'm clicking on insert and then I'm clicking on shapes, and just to start off I'll choose an oval to begin. So I'm selecting oval and I move in here. Now I'm not clicking and dragging yet, my mouse, I am not touching my mouse, but my mouse has become a cross. If I now keep the left mouse button held down and move in two directions, and when I'm happy with the shape, I let go. Okay. Now you can see that this oval has been selected because it's got these little placeholders, the little circles and squares at the corners of the shape. If I click away from it over here, you can see that the circle or oval is no longer selected. When I want to work with the oval, I need to select it again, making sure those little markers are on it, and now I can change it. To move the oval, I click into the center of the shape and you'll notice my mouse is a four-way arrow, and if I click and I drag, you can see I can move it over to the top and move it down to the bottom. I'll just put it back into the middle again so I can work with it. Now to resize it, I move my mouse to one of these circles and you'll notice that my mouse has become a two-way arrow. When my mouse is that two-way arrow, I click, keep my left mouse button held down and I move, and you can see I can make it bigger or I can make it smaller. When I'm happy with the size, I then let go, and that resizes the shape. Now the next thing I'd like to do is I'd like to change the way that this particular oval looks. I can do it on the Home tab and I can use these options here. If I'd like a full array of options, I click on the Format tab. So I click in here. I can choose from any of the preset designs by clicking on these options here, and you can see it automatically changes them over. Or I can choose my own options by going through here to Shape Fill. And if I click on this little triangle at the edge, I get the options, and I can choose these colors in here. Or I can choose an array of sort of shading, or I can go into texture and, for example, choose marble. So I'm just going to increase this in size. So I'm going to click and drag to make it larger. Now other things I can do with that is, at the moment this has got a sort of a medium blue border on the outside edge. That's the outline of the shape. So again, shape outline, if I click onto the little triangle here, I get my options, and I could change the color, for example, to yellow. And if I go back into shape outline again and decide I'd like a nice thick yellow outline, I go into weight and I increase the weight, and you'll notice now the outline here has become thicker. I can make the outline, at the moment it's a straight line, I could make it a dashed line and different types of dashes by selecting those options there. Okay, I'm going to insert another shape now, so I'm going to go back to the Insert tab here, click onto Insert and into Shapes, and I'm going to choose, for example, a triangle. So I'm going to choose triangle here and then click and drag and let go. Now this time I'd like sort of a variety, a rainbow effect on this particular triangle. I'm going back to the Format tab, and here in Shape Fill I'm going to go to Gradient. Don't really like any of those colors there, so I'm going to go to More Gradients. And if I choose, for example, Gradient Fill in here and choose that, and for example choose some of the preset colors here, you can see there's lots of kind of very brightly colored options here. So I'm going to choose Rainbow and I'm going to hit Close. And so here you can see I've got a rainbow triangle. I can also change the outside edge of that again. So this time I'm going to give it a purple edge and I'm going to make it a thick purple edge. Now you'll notice that the triangle is sitting on top of our oval. If we want to make the triangle sit underneath the oval, we go to, you can do it on the Home tab, so I'll just do it in there. So go to the Home tab and click on Arrange, and here is the positioning of the different items. So the one I want at the moment is, I would like to send it, I've got the triangle at the front, I'd like to send it to the back of the pile. Okay, now if I have 3 items, I'll just show you how that one works. I'm going to put in, for example, the lightning, and I've got lightning here, and I'm just going to very quickly change it in color, and I can do it in here. I'll make the lightning yellow. So now we have 3 items sitting in a pile, and the lightning is on top, the oval is next, and the triangle is at the bottom. So on the Home tab again, if I choose Arrange and Send Backwards, it moves it back 1 level, and now my lightning is sitting in the middle. The oval is on top, then the lightning, then the triangle. If I go Arrange, Send Backwards, it's now down the bottom of the pile. So Arrange, Send to front and Send to back are the very, very bottom or the very, very top. Bring forward or Send backwards just moves it up or down 1 level. So I'm, for example, going to say Bring to front, and that brings it to the very, very top of the pile. Okay, I'm going to give myself another blank slide to work with. Again, on the Home tab, New Slide, the bottom half of this button here, New Slide, and choose Blank. Now I'm going to go on to the Insert tab, and I'm going to have a look at working with clip art. So in here I'm going to choose clip art, and over here is where the clip art bar appears. So in here I'm going to type in cupcake and have a look. So here's a whole pile of cupcakes. So I'm just going to select this particular one here. Any one you want, you just click on it and wait a few seconds, and in it pops in here. So what I would like to do is, I would like to make a little row of cupcakes appearing across the top of the screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to reduce this in size. I'm going to shrink it right down so it's a little small cupcake up here. I'm now going to click on the Home tab, and I'm going to copy it. So I've copied it, and I want a whole pile of these cakes, so I'm going to click on Paste, 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 going to click, 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 click until I have a lot of cupcakes. Now I'm going to drag the first cupcake over here, so that's the start of my line, and I'm going to drag another one roughly over there, and that's the end of the line. And what I'd like to do is to end up with a big line of cupcakes across the top. So I'm going to select all of these cupcakes, so I click and drag and make a big square across all of them and let go, and you'll see that all of the cupcakes are now selected. So to line these up correctly, I click on the Arrange tab and I click on Align, and in here I look at the pictures closely, and I'm going to line these up, and I'm going to choose Align Middle. Now they're nicely lined up at the moment, but they're not spaced out very evenly, and that's called distribution. So Arrange, Align, and here Distribute horizontally or vertically. If you're not sure which is which, just have a look at the picture. So this is Distribute horizontally. So now they're lined up correctly and they're evenly spaced, but at the moment it'd be easy to mess them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Arrange and Group. This has now become one item, and so if I move them, all of the cakes, and I'm clicking away, and when I click back into it again, all of my little cupcakes move together. Also, if I shrink it down in size, you can see all of the cupcakes move together, and that's called grouping. To separate them out again, if I wanted to do that, again on the Home tab, I'd click on Arrange and Ungroup, and now you can see all of the cupcakes are separate, and for example I could delete the middle one there and select them again and Arrange and Group, and now they're back together as a group. Okay, that's the end of the drawing slide.